Season 3, we are back in action. I am Aaron Burrell alongside.
I'm Paul Guarino.
And we are your hosts of What SHU
Doing.
There we go, baby. Look at us. Teamwork. You know, it only took 3 seasons, but, you know, we're finishing each other's sentences now, Chris. I like to start it off with a little bit of jokes. But as the theme for this season has been illustrious guests. So thank you for being another one.
Another one.
I'll
take it.
Chris, we are joined by Chris Lombardi. Chris, you graduated in 2014, class of 2014, one of the greatest classes to ever exist. Not biased or anything.
No.
And yeah, we like to kick things off and learn your origin story. You know, how did you end up at Sacred Heart?
Yeah, sure. So I was between a couple schools. I was looking at Ithaca. I was looking at Cortland, wanted to play football. Actually wanted to do some kind of communications major. Didn't really think Sacred Heart was serious because I wanted to play football. It was a little bit out of my kind of range of possibilities. And Sacred Heart ended up being one of the last places to offer me. I came here, met the coaches, and I was on the sideline. And I actually ran into a couple of the guys, Titus McIntosh and Rube McIntosh.
Yes.
Guys like
Twins.
that. Yeah, we were on the sideline chatting it up, and I was just like, this is a level of professionalism that the other schools just didn't have. And getting to talk to them, getting to see the campus, I was like, this is where it felt like home to me. So I just jumped in.
It feels like that's been the theme today.
It has. I love the Rube and Titus shout out because those are my guys. I was also from Florida. You know,
okay. Yeah.
When I got up here, I was like, before they even opened their mouth and started speaking to me, I was like, y'all are from Florida. We just know it. Yeah, we just know. We find each other. So it's great to hear. So obviously, so you get on campus. You know, a lot of students. Some may know what they want to do. Some, are figuring that out. Which camp did you find yourself in?
I did not. So I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. That's like what my dream was. Got to school, started doing some of the communications classes. One of the classes was like watching film, and I don't know if you guys remember the times that we were living in like 2010, right? Where huge financial crisis just happened.
Yeah.
Now I'm spending all this money to go to school, and the first kind of class that I'm taking is film. And I felt like that was a struggle for me to look myself in the mirror and say, like, this is what I should be doing. And not to say that if you want to get into film, that's not worth your time or your money. I think it is. But for me, just in that moment, didn't feel right. So took a step back, said, I know I want to do business. I had a professor, Professor Scarpati, who was an accounting professor, really got me into accounting. I loved it. Decided to kind of transition to major in accounting, but still didn't know that I wanted to do accounting. I am not an accountant today, but I have a master's degree from Sacred Heart in accounting.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, I forgot to mention that. 2-time graduate of Sacred Heart University.
Yeah. That's crazy, though.
It is. And hearing your voice, like, especially through these headphones, I'm like, you sound like a sports broadcaster.
Dude, I could have done it. Right?
Yes. You absolutely. It's never too late.
There's still hope.
It's never too late. The era is here. So,
for sure. I appreciate that.
With all the media and stuff and live streams, you could do it.
That's right. Well, I do have a sports podcast that I do for my company, and I get to do a little bit of sports talk, which I like.
Awesome. Yeah. So, obviously, you mentioned, not knowing what you wanted to do. You get to Sacred Heart's campus. When did you decide that, graduate school here at Sacred Heart was also the right move for you?
You know what? It was more just, I know that education is valuable, right? Like, the more education you have, the more valuable you are. Didn't really matter to me what I was doing. I just knew that I wasn't ready to fully invest all my energy in a job. I did have a job while I was in grad school, so I just took kind of like the first job that got thrown at me. Was working full-time, coming to Sacred Heart on the weekends to do classes for accounting. And again, I just was like, give me the more education because it's going to make me look better. It's going to help me get to the next step. And that's just what I decided.
Yeah. What are some experience at SHU? Like, how was your experience at SHU overall? Obviously you were playing football too.
Amazing. So I think a couple things I want to shout out. So playing football at Sacred Heart was the best thing I ever did in my life. I didn't play all 4 years. I stopped after my 3rd year. It was the right decision for me at the time. But those 3 years, I made the best friends I'll ever make. Sacred Heart football is really into volunteer work. So I spent so much time volunteering. When I graduated, I continued doing volunteer work because in your early 20s, you don't really know who you are, right? So I spent my early 20s kind of volunteering, doing extra hours, things after work, really getting to know who I was. And to me, that's because of the experience I had at Sacred Heart playing football. I think, being an entrepreneur, one of the reasons I did that is because of Paul. Paul started PG Sports in our dorm room. Paul and I lived together, for those of you that don't know. To see that he was able to do that he was able to kind of just use his imagination and create something, and have people buy into that, told me that I could do that too. So after school, that's another thing that I tried to get into, is figuring out what kind of things I can do to attract people to me, right? And try to make a living doing something of my own.
It's crazy how many great ideas get started out of dorm rooms and like brands that you build. I mean, even this week, I was involved in a panel for work, and one of the panelists was like, "Yeah, I started this clothing brand in my dorm, and now it's like an international brand. He's he's going all across the world for it. So it just goes to show, it does.
And I mean, fashion's a young man's game, right? So Paul did it early. he was in it.
Young trippy.
Yeah.
I do have a funny story if I can for like a second.
Yeah, of course.
I did have an idea at the time when we were working together that I pitched to Paul.
Okay.
And Paul said, "I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but it's a pretty bad idea." And I didn't pursue it, and then the Yankees did it.
Really?
And
what was the idea?
So it was to make tank tops for like just cotton tank tops, but have like it be a jersey.
Okay.
So like a Yankee jersey on a tank top. And I was like, yo, could be kind of cool. People in the summer, like, Rob Dim Darty Co. Like people in the summer rocking up to a Darty in a baseball tee.
Yeah.
Paul just shot that one down.
Wow.
So he owes me an idea one day.
Yeah, or a couple billion.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, whichever comes first.
No, it is funny that like that. Obviously, like like one of the trends now is like the different sports make their other sports jerseys.
Right.
So say like a basketball jersey turns into a baseball jersey, and like vice versa. But I guess sometimes you're wrong.
We're never always right.
Yeah. For sure. All right, so Chris, you get your master's at Sacred Heart. Take us through your post-college journey. What was it? Did you have a job lined up immediately after school? Was there a little bit of a process? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so that's another reason I loved Sacred Heart is I had 4 internships between my junior and senior year that I did. So I got a lot of experience just getting out there and trying things. I had 3 job offers leaving undergrad, so I knew that I had something to carry me forward, right? I didn't know if I wanted to do any of them, but I knew that I had a secure thing, right? And that's thanks to Sacred Heart helping me get there, right? I took one. I just took one. It was to do sourcing and procurement at a IT company. So reviewing, negotiating contracts, things like that. And again, I was in graduate school at that time. And while I was there, I was saying to myself, like, I know this isn't what I want to do long term. So I started doing volunteer work. I spent 5 years volunteering at a domestic violence shelter, working with children, getting to know, it's called ACEs, so adverse childhood experiences, really understanding like what things affect people and the decisions they make in their lives. Like, why are people living the lives that they're living? What is affecting them? How can we put them in better situations for success? So that's something I pursued for a few years, and I think that's still going to be part of my future. But I talked about it. I love talking about sports. That's like one of my favorite things to do. I started a company with 2 of my friends at home called All 22. It is a fantasy football company. I love talking about football, so that's what I do. It started out really small. I partnered with this company in Ohio called PFF, Pro Football Focus, and built this kind of platform. I knew nothing about technology or how to build a tech platform, and we figured it out, right? And like, I think that's what your 20 should be about. It's just trying something and failing 50 times and carry something forward. And I still have All 22. I'm still doing it today. I love doing it. I have a podcast where I talk about All 22. And then I also have another company that I started called Pickpool, which is a NFL draft company. So you get to try to guess the NFL draft, and you compete against other people and win prizes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Let's plug your podcast real quick.
I'm sorry?
Let's plug your podcast.
Oh, yeah. The All 22 NFL podcast. It's on YouTube, Apple, Android, wherever you listen. For sure.
All of them. Yeah, it was cool when I was on a panel a few years ago and Chris came, and then a kid came up to him that was a student at the time and was like, "Yo, you're the owner? Like, I play that right now." And I was like, "Oh shoot, that was cool. That was cool."
That was a big moment for me because we're not huge, right? Like, so having somebody from Sacred Heart see that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
He had no idea like Chris was Sacred Heart alum either.
Really?
But,
right. Yeah, we need to work on that. I've got to talk to Dan. Say, Dan, Sacred Heart Alumni Association. Let's promote businesses.
Dan Remy, podcast alum.
There we go. President of the Alumni Association. Isn't it crazy? Like all of our connections now.
Yeah.
It's like
crazy.
How long it's been one that it's like now we're like leading the Alumni Association. All of these things.
Yep.
I see like the new students, and I'm like, I feel like y'all could have been my classmates.
So
like, your parents could have been my classmates. I'm like,
I'm walking in here and there's people with
20,
their parents,
30.
and I'm like, I'm probably between your ages, right?
Yes,
like your parent is probably like only a few years older than me. It's kind of nuts.
Right.
Like, I don't feel that old.
yeah, the class that was coming in is 2030.
Stop that, right? That's crazy. So 16 years after us.
Yeah. Yes.
I could have had a 16. Yeah, we won't. No, we don't have to.
So Chris, obviously being here during those years as well for football, we like to talk about some of those experiences, and you obviously talked about how much it meant to you. Obviously, in those years, I remember our freshman year, not the greatest year. Sophomore year, a little better.
Yep.
Junior year,
a lot better.
A lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it changed so much. I mean, the football team was kind of this middling program with a coach that had really high expectations and a quarterback, Dale Fink, who people thought was like the savior, right?
Yes,
and it just didn't
that.
happen, right? It just didn't happen. And it was a little frustrating, but Coach Nofri coming in just changed this, right? He created a new environment where I think you felt like a team. You felt like there was this kind of connection amongst your teammates, amongst your coaches. They cared about you in a way that maybe wasn't there before. I think people really felt that. It changed the culture for sure.
For sure.
And then 2 championships right after I was done, unfortunately. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
But yeah, no, I mean, you helped lay that foundation, of course.
Sure. Yeah, I was a punching bag for a few years, but I'll take it. I laid something.
You laid down.
Yeah. I never laid down, Paul. Never.
No, it's like at the end of the day, though, I always talk about this now when I talk with athletes. It's like whether you play or whether you're the guy who's first on the team sheet or the last guy on the team sheet, every day in practice, like results don't happen on the weekend without you being pushed during the week. Like any 100%. Successful team I've ever been a part of, practices were always way harder than actual games. And that was because we were going at it with even like when I was here at Sacred Heart, we won the only NEC regular season title, which now is going to be the only one in school history now that we're in the MAC. So, but
that's awesome.
But yeah,
no,
but
it is.
But it's like I think about what our practices were like, and every day it's like we were going at each other. Like
100%.
no one was ever intending to do any wrong for each other, but it was like everyone was fighting. Everyone wanted to be the best that they could be. That required, if you were in my way, we had to, you had to show me your best, I had to show you mine. So
100%.
It's like that culture of a team. And I feel like you probably bring that into your professional experience as well.
Definitely. I was 17 when I started at Sacred Heart, and I remember on my team there was a couple guys that were like 25, and you're battling these guys that are grown men, right? Yes. And you have to really like hold your own. But again, Sacred Heart was a place that there was a maturity here that those guys knew how to kind of put us under their arm and carry us and show us the ropes. And then doing that now, right? It's like just because you're 21, graduating college, 22, doesn't mean that you're not, you can't fight with the big dogs, right? Like the 17-year-old kid, like you can still do that. And again, just like just go out there and try something.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. I want to get back more into all 22. So like, I know, like you said about the tech and all that, but like, how did you guys first come up with the whole idea?
Aaron, do you play fantasy football at all?
I do. As a matter of fact, the last fantasy football, I haven't played in a little bit, just timing wise.
Sure.
Life has happened.
He's a dad.
All right. Well, I'm going to take you back anyway then. So like when we graduated college, there was a guy named Blake Bortles.
Yeah, I know. I remember Blake, UCF legend.
Yeah, he had one of the best fantasy football seasons for a quarterback, but was the worst quarterback in the NFL. Yes. And people were, like that was fantasy football. And to me, that told like a really weird story about what football is. And I wanted to tell a different story, right? So this company PFF does analytical grading for football. Every NFL team buys analytics from PFF. Almost all the colleges, big time colleges do as well now. So what we did is we took their analytical grading and said, I want a quarterback that actually is good to be the quarterback on my team. I don't want the running back to be the number 1 overall pick, because in the NFL draft that is never going to happen, right? It's going to be quarterbacks, it's going to be edge rushers, tackles. So we created a game where it takes you so much closer to what the true NFL experience is, and that was our goal in this.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But also like tell about like the all 20. Like I'm saying, like
So all 22 is. It is the only fantasy football game with full 53-man rosters. Again, the same that the NFL has. It includes offensive linemen.
Okay.
And it allows you to do personnel packages. So, you're not setting a lineup like baseball, because football is not baseball. So instead you set a depth chart. That's what you do in Madden. That's what the NFL teams are doing, right? You set a depth chart. You have formations. You, again, have that analytical grading that you can use to make decisions each week. Nowhere else is that being done. So it's offering something really unique, very advanced fantasy football. I think if you're like an extremely casual fan, it's going to seem complicated to you. But if you have any real knowledge of football, you're going to go in there and at first you're going to look at it and be like, well, this is a little overwhelming. And then you're going to be like, no, this is like the greatest thing I've ever done. If you play Madden and just would ever like draft a team, that's what we did when we were 16 years old. You just draft teams. all 22 is that you're just drafting a full team and playing with that team.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Have you guys thought about expanding it all? I know, obviously, football is your thing. I know, but as a soccer guy, I got to kind of throw us out there. Hey, listen, it's a World Cup year. Maybe you kind of want to get into it.
Yes, absolutely. So PFF also has a soccer component of their grading. They kind of branched off. They got a big investment, like a $50 million investment, decided to invest in soccer because soccer is like the biggest sport in the world. So eventually, yes, we will be making a soccer game for PFF.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely be playing.
Dang,
Last time I played fantasy football, by the way, one of your former teammates, Robert Dim, was leading. He was our commissioner.
Poor guy.
And he didn't believe me, but I kept telling him from week one. I was like, I started off a little slow, but I was like, listen, Dim, I'm looking at my squad. I know football. Like, I grew up in Florida. I don't know football like the way you know football. Obviously, I couldn't tell you, certain formations, schemes, and all of that. But I'm like, I know somebody who could run through somebody's face.
Yeah, hell yeah,
and I'm
man.
picking that guy.
You could watch film and see what who's good.
Exactly, and I also know
that's what matters.
Again, growing up in Florida, speed kills. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick the fastest guys on the field. Sure. And sure enough, I won. Dim didn't want to believe it, so
I'm gonna rub that in Dim's face.
Yeah, definitely let him know. That was the last time I played fantasy football. I wanted to walk off on a championship. I like to let Dim know that I'm the GOAT.
Yeah,
but anyway.
You win once, you never play again.
Exactly.
That's how I do it too. It's the best way.
No. But back to more serious stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to either someone trying to start a business or picking their college?
Well, I'll start with the business thing because it was funny. My boss at my day job was talking to me recently about his son who wanted to get into eBay, right? Like buying things in bulk, selling it on eBay. And he's like, he thought it would just be you buy stuff, you list it, and you make money, right? And I think a lot of people think that way when they're 16 to 20 years old. That's your mindset. Sit down and write a business plan. So ask yourself, what really matters for me to be successful? What things am I gonna have to overcome? What are the finances, right? I know what my costs might be. How many do I actually have to sell to regain my costs? What are my marketing tools that are available to me? Write out a plan for yourself, right? Before you do anything, write out that plan and say to yourself, is this something that I want to do, right? And then, like I said earlier, it's just try, right? Even if you think that there's a 10% chance of success, when you're 20 years old, you don't need $1 million in your bank. You don't need $100,000 in your bank, right? Take $5,000 and just try to build something just so you learn the process. I am so much more valuable today because I tried something, even though, again, maybe it's not $1 million company yet, but I tried, and I now have the experience and the knowledge of how to do it again and again and again, which is what I'm now doing with Pickpool. And then picking a college, right? It's a different world today, Paul, right? It's a different world. I think I was listening to one of your podcasts where you guys were talking about it's $70,000 or something to go to school here now if you don't have grants or scholarships. That's a big decision, right?
I think it went up from there.
Oh,
from that.
Sick.
Yeah, when I looked it up the other day.
So what I'm saying is I was 17 years old. I don't know if I would trust a 17-year-old to make a decision to spend $350,000 of debt before they start their life, right? I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm saying maybe just take a couple of years between high school and college and try some stuff. Figure out really what it is that you think is valuable to you, because I don't think it is 10 years ago where you could go to school for accounting. You don't want to be an accountant and then come out of it and still be pretty good, right? Now it's you have $400,000 of debt and you really have to love accounting or it's going to be kind of a difficult situation. So figure out a little bit of what you want to do, then go to school, make the best friends you'll ever make, go party a little, right? Because that's how you grow. That's how you grow, and figure it out from there.
No, I think that's a great segue into our favorite segment. It's that time. You have watched the show
a couple times.
You have seen what comes next. It's time.
Fun shoe.
It has been likened to the sound of a dish, a bad dish, a good dish.
I don't know. I'm about to make some food about it. I don't know what I'm going to make though. But I'll make something.
I feel like a bacon, egg, and cheese would be the perfect encapsulation of fun shoe. It's everyone.
All right, well, since it's fun though, I would put candy bacon on it and buffalo sauce.
Wait, this is the most fun shoe food that I had? Because
no, we just got on a side tangent actually.
I just made up a sandwich right now on the spot.
I'm
fun shoe.
Remember the Linda McMahon chicken sandwich with guac, Chipotle.
Oh, so that's your favorite? That
was my favorite.
All right, well that's what I was going to ask you.
We asked. It's a rapid fire.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, anyways.
Yeah.
All right, I answered that.
Yeah. So all right. So what was your favorite dorm on campus?
North, 100%.
Yeah, North. See, he doesn't even know about that.
Champ.
Yeah, 2 times.
You guys No,
Yo, 100%.
they're jaded. They're jaded. That's all
we
I'm
are.
gonna say. It's Jay Hill.
It's more of a off.
Always, if you're a sophomore, Jay Hill is the guy to go.
Jay Hill was an Olympic year, I think, and never mind, not appropriate.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
We cut that out. Who's your favorite professor? Or let's get two because you're one in your grad school, one in undergrad.
Scarpati was definitely my favorite professor in undergrad.
Wasn't that Jimmy's favorite professor too?
Yeah, he was
Jimmy.
the reason both of us went into accounting. And it's really just like this person that went and did it, and you could tell that he loved what he did, and he wanted kids to learn about it and be successful, right? And I felt that. I don't remember a ton of names.
In grad school, yeah.
Makari was cool. He wasn't a grad school guy, but I really liked him in undergrad. He was pretty inspiring. Let's leave it at that for now.
It's good answers. Good answers.
You got any fun questions?
Favorite memory living with this guy?
The 20 beer challenge. Can I talk about that?
I mean,
No. Favorite memory with Paul was freshman year. Nobody has a ton of friends freshman year, right? So it's me and my roommate. We're just kind of doing our own thing. And this guy, Paul, would just come and like enter our room whenever he wanted to. He would just hang out and chat our ear off. And we're like trying to do homework. We're trying to sleep. We're trying to get ready for practice.
Chatterbox.
And he just wants to talk, right? But like I have like 90% of my SHU friends now because of Paul. So like it's just having that like that dude that was like helping you kind of see the rest of what's possible at SHU. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was in
That's
Seton
what you
and-
literally
and
say
similar-
every episode.
Literally every episode, I tell people like we used to keep our door open and I would just come in there.
Weren't you guys on the same floor?
Yeah,
No, you guys are on the same floor.
I have
You
a
were in 6'2"?
Dude, no, I was 5.
Okay,
But I
yeah.
have a funny
Wait.
story about that too. So like one time towards the end of the year.
Is it PG?
Yeah, it's safe.
Oh,
Safe
okay.
for
Podcast.
safer podcast. So you guys were kicking soccer balls in the hallway at like 2 a.m. and like nobody cares. You're in college. Like that's part of the experience, guys. Embrace it. My roommate Pete was a stickler. Like, he was like he had military tucked in sheets every single day. Like you could drop a quarter on it and bounce up kind of thing. He went out and yelled at you guys.
I'm sure everyone like we fell into two camps. Like either you like loved us or you really hated us.
I loved you guys.
Yeah.
You guys were awesome. The soccer guys were super cool.
Yeah. I appreciate that because
Yeah, for
we were definitely menaces. Like we have seen videos that we made. Like not gonna mention these videos, but like we were like, "Whoo, yeah, maybe."
We have a few of
Pull these
those.
off the internet.
Yeah, we have a few of those for sure.
For sure.
Shout out to what was that? Not TikTok, before TikTok. Vine.
Vine.
Shout out to
Vine.
And if you could go back and see Paul's
Vine.
Vine, oof.
I wish we could.
Yeah, somebody's going to.
Yeah, let's actually leave them where they're at. But Chris,
In the cloud.
Yeah, in the cloud. But Chris, we appreciate your time. It's always been great. Always great to catch up and talk to an alum who was here during the golden years.
Thanks for having me on, and I think you guys are doing an awesome job here. Thank you for
I
doing it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Well, this has been another episode of What You Doing. We appreciate you all. We will see you next time.